Hi, I'm Sharon Spangler. Welcome to Reno TV. With me right now is Councilmember Dave Aiazzi. We're going to talk about the Northgate Golf Course, a little bit of the history of the golf course and what is happening with it now. Some significant decisions by the City Council to put into place a special assessment district for the homeowners in that area. First off, a little bit of the history of the Northgate Golf Course and how come it has ended up where it has.
In the late 80s, they were given that land by a developer, the RJB Development, on the condition that it be maintained as a golf course. And so the RSCVA operated it, but the weird thing is the RSCVA doesn't really own any property. It actually is owned by the county. So the RSCVA operated it. And if they ceased operating it, we go back to RJB, and then they could do whatever they chose with it, as far as they have to get the permits and everything and change zoning and do all that. But then they could have had that property. And when they started taking the water rights off, we sort of knew that was the end of that. But this has been going on for quite a while. In fact, I look back in my council, I think in 2002 or 2003, I got the council to pass a resolution asking them to keep that open as a golf course. So they had been letting it run down, in my opinion. And so they actually took it off, and then the county, it went back to the county, and they just said, we're just going to give it back to the developers. And I went to the county commissioners and said, you know, you have to at least try to see what we can do about this. So we started negotiating with RJB Development.
And at that point, the development company put out a number and said, if you folks can come up with this number, then we'll let you have it and do with it what you want.
Yeah, well, it was pretty, it started off like the county got an appraisal, which the governments have to do before they buy something. It was like about $5.8 million. Then they got another appraisal because the economy went downhill, and it got to be $2.8 million. And they're willing to take the $2.8 million. So we were trying to figure out how to get that money together. And the residents around the golf course said, we'll see what we have to do to form a special assessment district to pay for part of that. So they went around and got signatures and petitions and got enough signatures to at least put on the City Council agenda to form the special assessment district.
And so recently the City Council voted to approve the special assessment district. What happens next?
Well, we still have a couple more votes we have to take. That was the first hearing. Okay. And on special assessment district, it always takes a lot longer so people can be informed, and there may be some more people coming in favor of it or opposed to it. So we'll have to see how that goes at the next meeting. I can't presuppose how the council is going to vote. But assuming it does pass, then that special assessment district will raise $1.2 million. The City of Reno got some money from the park district that's up there, so it's not general fund money. That will put in some money. The county will put in $400,000 from their open space bond issue that got done. So we're cobbling it together to about, I believe it's $2.2 million. And then the RJB is taking the risk on some other money coming in. If they build some houses up there, we're going to give them that money from the Parks District again in the future. And they're also trying to sell some property up there to get up to 2.8. So it's all very sort of out there, but they've agreed to sell it for what we need to buy it for.
At this point, do most of the residents seem like they really want it to happen?
Well, we had about over 70% of the assessed valuation of the people, that's how you have to do a special assessment, had said that they're in favor of it at this time. Now, again, they could change their mind between the meetings. So they seem to be in favor of it right now to raise that $1.2 million.
What do you think happened? Were there just too many golf courses in Reno, or was it just poorly managed? It was in a bad location? Do you have any ideas?
Well, I'm not a golfer, so I've heard all different kinds. One was that was a great golf course when it was first built, and people used it all the time, and it was making money hand over fist, and then they just let it go. Other people tell me there was rattlesnakes there and the wind was horrible and they're not going to go there. And also then everyone started building more golf courses. I mean, Wolf Run and Andrea, all these golf courses got built. So that had something to do with it too, I'm sure. So there's really no answer, you know, that you just point your finger to say that's it. But I also know the RSCVA is looking to divest itself of these bond payments so that they don't have to keep things up to date. If it's costing them money to run, they'd rather put that into advertising. So they're getting rid of everything they can get rid of. So all these things happened at once.
The main goal of the RSCVA is to really fill rooms in the hotels and bring more tourists to Reno. So I'm kind of curious how the golf courses fit into that.
But when they first built them, they built this one, they still own Wild Creek. It was, we're going to bring in golf tournaments and conventions that are here. A tournament is part of it, and that is what would help sell the area. And I think that that was really valid at the time, but then we've had a lot of golf courses built since then. I mean, and the city's closed down. We closed down Brookside, and it's just the way it's been going, the ups and downs of golf.
What are you envisioning for that property?
Well, I think it's going to really be a long-term issue with that property. I've told everyone up front, there's no money the city's going to put into it tomorrow to start, fixing it up. I hopefully they'll do something like Rancho San Rafael. There's Friends of Rancho San Rafael and have a long-term vision for it. I have talked to people about perhaps putting an urban farm up there on a small part of it so that you wouldn't see it from the houses. Just to see maybe more of an active use than Rancho San Rafael, where you could have more bicycling because you've got all those golf cart paths. So you have bicycling up there. I certainly don't envision motorized sports of any kind up there. But there's a lot of little things I think that people would like to use that for as just an open space, not being built as a park with grass and a lot of trees and duck ponds and all that. I think it's going to be more of an active open space area for those people up there to use.
It's something that when people are looking out of their window, they see something open versus houses.
Well, that's why they're willing to tax themselves, is they didn't want to have houses built right behind them. Many of those people up there paid a lot premium to have those views. And they all signed something saying, it's a golf course and we don't have any control over it. It might not be a golf course anymore. And they understood that, so we could let it fade. But I just don't think that's what we're supposed to do. We can't just entice people to live on government-owned facilities and then move those facilities willy-nilly. So I'm very happy with the outcome, what's happening. It's going to be a long time, but 20 years really goes by pretty quickly. I'm hoping that we can get someone in the clubhouse to stop the vandalism. If we can figure out a way to lease that to a group so they could just be in there, that would be very good too. That would be like one of the first steps to try to do.
Is there already a group that's formed that's really working alongside you or independently of you?
We're sort of waiting to see, we get this, we get all the money in place, and then we purchase it because we didn't want to go. They've spent a lot of their time. Linda James spent vast amounts of time getting signatures for this. So to think about what happens after that is just, let's get over this hurdle, and then we'll start. Again, we'll have a lot of time to think about it.
It's amazing what citizens can do when they really set their minds on doing something.
Absolutely. It doesn't take much. I mean, just stick-to-itiveness. She's been working on this for 2 years. And Jeff McCutcheon also helped a lot up there. Those are the two main people, I think, who brought that forward to me to say, let's move this along.
So as we're talking about this, there's still one more hearing before the City Council.
Correct.
Before it's finally approved, and then will it be months or a year or so before the district goes into place?
Probably just a few months, because we just have to go out and sell the bonds and pay that to RJB and move along. So it shouldn't be that long. We're looking this fiscal year, so before July 1st, to have that in the city's hands. And then we can open that gate up and let people use it a little bit more.
And it's kind of a blank canvas, really, so it's hard to know what will really happen.
220 acres is a lot of land right in the middle of town. So it's very interesting. You can go up there and walk on it now. There's a lot of dog walkers there, and there are people riding their bicycles. But 220 acres is a very, very large amount of land. So it doesn't have to have a single use. That could be done for a lot of things could happen up there.
Are you feeling good about it?
Very good, very good. Very happy that I could do what most of the people up there wanted us to do. I really believe that a majority of people in that area certainly did not want that developed.
And I like the fact that you've come up with a creative way to make something happen that's not going to include our property tax dollars or general fund dollars from the City of Reno.
Correct. Mostly it's from the residential construction tax for parks. So that money can only be used for parks, and that's what it's being used for. So I'm very happy with that. And the open space stuff from the county was very helpful.
Now, are you thinking that it's going to be a regional park like Rancho San Rafael?
It certainly could be. We got to parcel it up a little bit because of some state law stuff. But whatever people really choose to make it, because Rancho San Rafael, and I live very close to that. While it's considered a regional park, it's got little pieces to it. There's a dog walking area that's very large, but you can go let your dogs run, more of a dog run area. And they've got the place where they have the pathways and the trees and the flowers and so there's different sections to that park, which could be done anywhere.
And it's a beautiful park.
It's a very beautiful park. It started off nice. It wasn't great, but I think they've gotten grants and stuff to build it up, and they've done a really marvelous job right across from the university up there.
Anything else you want to add?
I just think, like you said, when the citizens want us to do something and they coalesce and ask governments to do something, particularly on the local level, I'm really happy that for the most part I think we're able to accommodate those things.
I've seen it over and over again throughout the years. It's always amazing to me how one person might start something and it just...
I'll tell you a story one time about how one person stopped something. There's one guy who stopped us from flipping the switches on everyone having to go to a meter. That'll be another time.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, Sharon.
And thank you all for joining us.